One of the skills that distinguishes a good climber is their ability to find and get into the best body positions. Correct body positioning is not only energy saving, but also maximizes the energy you can generate from properly utilizing hand and footholds. This video will explore the different options of body positioning for two common types of handholds, sidepulls and underclings. For almost all scenarios involving ideal body positions in climbing, there are two key principles we need to follow. 1. Forearm perpendicular to pulling edge. Pulling at a perpendicular or 90-degree angle to a handhold's pulling edge is biomechanically the most efficient way to apply force. It allows us to maximize the hold by creating leverage from its strongest position. If you think about pulling on a door handle or lifting a suitcase, you'll see that we naturally adopt the same angle with our forearm. 2. Counterpressure with feet. For downward-facing handholds, we rely on gravity to sink our body into position. For holds oriented in other directions, we create the same type of leverage by applying counterpressure with the feet. If you've ever played tug-of-war, you probably remember the position of being leaned back with your feet out in front. This creates counterpressure. By placing our feet in front of our pulling point, we strengthen our position by pushing our body into the pull. This principle directly applies to climbing. Whenever we contact a new handhold, we must register its orientation and look for a place to counterpressure with our feet. There are two basic body positions for side pulls, the lie back and the Gaston. A lie back is when you lean your body away from the hold, shifting your weight behind and against its pulling edge. The arm is straight and the body can be fairly relaxed. The point of counterpressure can be either ahead of the handhold, on the same vertical plane, or both. Lie backs are the most common body position used for side pulls. To practice a typical lie back, first find a good side pull. Then look for a usable foothold that is directly underneath or slightly ahead of the handhold. Now we apply the first rule of climbing and use opposite hand and foot. Here the side pull is for the right hand, so I'll use my left foot to counterpressure. Notice that the more I push with my foot, the more I extend my hips away from the hold and settle back into the lie back. As for the right foot, there is no additional foothold to use as a second point of counterpressure, so it just naturally flags against the wall. There are a few other variations of the lie back. In this example, the counterpressure foothold is way too ahead of the handhold to reach with my opposite foot. Therefore, I use the same side foot as my hand and settle into a back flag with the other leg to avoid the barn door. Notice how my hips are low and square to the wall in this position. Overall, the lie back can be accomplished in several ways. Don't worry if you don't always make the best choice of which variation to choose. The more you climb, the more your body will intuitively understand what position is most comfortable. The Gaston is the shouldery cousin of the lie back. Keeping the same principles of perpendicular forearm and counterpressure with the feet, this technique uses a thumbs-down grip with the elbow flared out and has the body positioned ahead of the handhold as opposed to behind it. The distinctive feature is that the arm is bent and it looks like you're trying to pry open an elevator door. Gastons are pretty easy to spot. If you see a side pull that looks way too out of reach for a lie back, you will likely have to Gaston it. Another way to think about it is that if the handhold is intended for the left hand but has the pulling edge on the opposite side, in this case right side, then it's typically more efficient to Gaston it. Compared to lie backs, Gastons are more strenuous to hold as they require more engagement of the shoulder. An undercling is a handhold with a pulling edge on the bottom, and is best utilized by pulling upwards into the hold. Counterpressure is the key factor in determining how well we can use an undercling. We rely on the height of our feet to adjust the pressure, with higher feet typically giving us more leverage, and lower feet giving us less. There are two main body positions for using underclings, the pinch and the curl. The pinch is used as a way to secure position going to an undercling. Two conditions usually need to be in place for the pinch to work. 1. The undercling is a jug. This means there's enough room for you to use your thumb and pinch the hold. 2. You're approaching the undercling from beneath it. If the feet are too low and you're positioned below an undercling, there's no way to pull upward, and thus pinching it is the best option to secure the hold. The second position for using an undercling is the curl. A name I gave it because it resembles a bicep curl. The curl is used as a way to move out of an undercling, and there's only one real criterion for this: high feet. The higher our feet, the more we can generate counterpressure and push our body into the upward pull of the undercling. When we're at an undercling and want to move to the next hold above it, it's best to position our feet high and stand up into a curl. For this blue V5, I need to move from this undercling by bumping my right hand pretty high. I make sure to have my right foot on the highest available foothold, and I even raise my left foot to smear the wall at a higher spot. There is such a thing as having feet that are too high, as this will cause us to be overscrunched and unable to effectively generate counterpressure. The ideal distance for feet is having your arms straight when you stand. For this purple V3, I start with an undercling in curl position and use it to move to another undercling, which I arrive in pinch position. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. I know there was a lot of information, and I hope it further sparks your curiosity for climbing. Most of this stuff I learned kinesthetically through just climbing and being aware. As you climb more, your body will naturally find itself into these different positions and physically reinforce this conceptual knowledge. All the best in your progress, and until next time, move better, climb harder.